Present perfect simple, have done. Present perfect continuous, have been doing. Past perfect simple, had done. Past perfect continuous, had been doing. Now, I hope that you all know the signal words now, because the signal words are the most important method of deciding which of these tenses to use. Now remember, the most important signal word for past simple is when. We know when with past simple. I also think one moment is a good signal for you, because present perfect is never one moment, it's a period of time. Even when you say I have been to France, that's not one moment, you're referring to your whole life when you say I have been to France or I have been to Greece. You're referring to your whole life until the present moment. And so really it should look like this on the drawing. The perfect tenses are always referring to a long period of time, whereas past simple is referring to discrete moments. This happened, then this happened, then this happened. Now let's look at a few questions first and see if that can help you understand how to choose a tense. So if we look at this first question, I blank snails, and we want to say never eat, and you mean in your whole life, in the whole period of your life, you I want to say haven't eaten, because didn't eat would be wrong. A lot of students say didn't eat, but I haven't eaten snails. You can say I have never eaten snails. They are the same. They mean the same. I have never eaten, I haven't eaten snails. We must say this because we're referring to the whole of our life. And when you talk about the whole of your life, you use present perfect, simple or continuous. It depends if it's stative verb or dynamic verb. Now, I would say with the word never, it's a signal word for present perfect simple. We don't use never with present perfect continuous. So here it must be I have never eaten. It cannot be I have never been eating. Just because with never we use present perfect simple, okay? And this means not at no moment in my life have I eaten snails. Okay, let's look at the next one, number 2. Not work and last week. Right, this is simple. We know when, last week. If we know when, we use past simple, and so it's didn't work. I didn't work last week. Okay, remember that. If we know when, always, always, always use past simple. Because when we know when, it's a discrete moment, a singular moment. We're not referring to a period of time like with past perfect, like with present perfect or past perfect. We're referring to long periods. Okay, number 3. I something 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 since I was a boy. Oh, I've forgotten to put what exactly. Let's say English. Since I was a boy. Now, since is a very important signal word. It goes here with the perfect tenses. So we have never, we have since. I like to put it near continuous. But of course, if it's a stative verb, it will be simple. But since really refers to the duration, and I think duration is here with continuous. Result is here with stative, result. So I have been learning English since I was a boy. Have been learning. Learn is dynamic. It takes place over a long period, and here we are emphasizing duration. So have been learning English since I was a boy. Okay? It's not past perfect. You'll see why it's not past perfect in a moment, because present perfect is always in relation to the present moment. And here you are still learning English. So I have been learning English since I was a boy. Okay? We could use other verbs here, other dynamic verbs like learn works, but also live. Also work. I have been working at this company for 10 years. So since and for and how long will be here with duration. But remember, for any of these, if they're stative, use simple. If they're dynamic, use continuous. I have been learning English for 5 years, I have been living here for 2 years, I have been working here for 10 years, doesn't matter. Okay, so number 4, how long? So perhaps you're thinking use continuous, but hang on, wait a second, because know is a stative verb. So how long have you known him? Remember that your stative verbs must always be in the simple form. How long have you known him? Okay, now we're going to move on to the perfect tenses here. He told me that he... Now, first of all, first thing to remember is reported speech. Any present perfect will become past perfect in reported speech. So, a very common time when we use past perfect is when we speak with reported speech. So, what are we going to use? Are we going to use past perfect simple or past perfect continuous? For 20 minutes, duration. Remember that duration is the continuous form. Result is the simple form. Duration and result would be up here with simple. But we're not emphasizing result. We're emphasizing the duration. How long? For 20 minutes. So he told me that he had been waiting for 20 minutes. Now, you can think of the reason being it's reported speech. I have been waiting 20 minutes. He told me he had been waiting. Or you can still think of it as a graph where you have a past simple moment, he told me, and he told me about something which happened before the past simple moment, which is a moment of duration. And so he told me he had been learning English for 15 years. He told me he had been living in Russia for 5 years. Doesn't matter which verb we use. The point is it happened before he told me. And that's why we must use this had been waiting. We don't use had waited because we're not emphasizing result. We're emphasizing duration. And wait isn't stative. Okay, the last one. I found out that he... Now, this before word is a good signal for present perfect simple. It's another good signal word, before. I found out that he hadn't met him before. Why? Because the meeting took place before I found out. Okay, remember that past perfect is just before. It's a very important word for past perfect, before. So any time when you say something in past simple, when you say when something happened and then you want to say that something happened earlier, use had. Had basically means earlier. In our mind, in our English mind, we think of this word had as meaning earlier. The action happened earlier. So if we say I saw that he had been to the shops, that had been, it means earlier he was at the shops, earlier than I saw. That's what the had emphasizes. It emphasizes earlier, it emphasizes before. Okay, I hope that's a very clear presentation. I know there will be certainly many more questions. I've tried to make this video short and clear, and I'm sorry if I've been speaking quickly. It's just because I wanted to get everything into a small amount of time. Okay, again, please look above for the URLs to the Facebook and VK groups. Learn English Easy as Pie with Mojtaba Yakubi and English with Pleasure with Alexander Lebedev. The URLs are above. And please subscribe and you will have more videos every week. Thanks a lot. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this lesson and would like to receive more over the next few weeks. Here are some videos on phrasal verbs, auxiliary verbs, tenses, and verb forms as well, like gerunds and 2+ infinitive. Please watch them and try the quizzes below the videos, and I hope that you improve.